Hey Corey, this is Keaton Everett with ABC, going over your pitching video from camp. I'm going to go through and talk about your mechanics and break it down frame by frame and get you to a point that you can kind of understand everything and sort of get an idea of what we kind of need to see at a couple spots throughout the delivery. All right, you got a little bit of work to do. There's a few things that sort of red flag injury. Just sort of the angles you're getting your arm at, but there's a little bit that we're going to go over and hopefully help you out with everything. All right. So what we're going to do to start off is basically look at the initial setup of everything. All right. So how we're setting up dictates so much about how we're going to finish. All right. You're a big kid, so it's just a matter of keeping control of our body, keeping our balance. All right. So just make sure right as we get going. All right. Right off the bat, as we click forward here. All right, what you see is your hands immediately break out of your glove and your leg never really gets very high. All right, I know a lot of guys like to be in the slide step or something, but at a lower level, we don't really worry about too much about slide step yet, because we want to try to keep ourselves in a sort of a consistent, solid mechanic spot before we start worrying about slide step. All right, so what you see is, initially right off the bat you're just going forward. All right, you're rushing. That's just rushing. All right, and so you can see how you get your arm really extended up above your shoulder, which puts a really big strain on your shoulder capsule, and then you get really far out in front of your body. So basically what you're seeing is an increased load on your shoulder, an increased load on your elbow. So as you get older and start throwing harder and getting stronger, that your arm's going to start getting a little bit sore. All right, it's just something that we sort of have to work on a little bit to get ourselves in a little bit better spot. All right, we basically at this point want to see weight back. We want to see, and I'll go through and explain a little bit in more detail, but there's just a little bit of work that we need to do to get you a little bit better spot. All right, so what we need to try to see here is right off the bat, work on staying back a little bit longer. All right, we want to try to see you at this point. Let's try to work on getting that knee up to right around that belt level before we start going. All right, your leg's about right here. All right, your hands also too, work on getting your hands lower. All right, we don't need to break our hands right up here and go straight up with them. All right, you don't need to drop down either. All right, you don't need to drop down all the way. You might be more like a Billy Wagner style where he comes right out of the glove, but coming up this way creates arm issues. Coming out this way creates arm path. All right, so we got to work on arm path a little bit more. So as we get up here, all right, out of the glove, we'll go through it and draw your arm path real quick. All right, there's your elbow. We'll kind of go through frame by frame. All right, so you can see here this ball path, and it just kind of gets up there and just kind of hovers there. It's still up, still up. There's no momentum in your arm. Still up, still up. All right, now it's kind of impinging down on itself. All right. You're right here, your hands are behind the ball. All right, now you're getting about to release. Looks like your eyes are looking down at the ground. Your chest is out front. All right, these are all things that we need to work on and fix. All right, so there's your arm path right here. All right, right about to this spot is okay with our arm path. All right, you can kind of notice how right this last little second there's a big dip. All right, that's not very good either. What we want to try to see is try to get more to a point where we're about right here with our arm path. All right, we're about right here. We're about right here. Those dots are starting to go. I guess you can only do so many dots on this, but we're getting more in this spot. All right, so we want to try to get more in that area and not so extreme at first. All right, so now you're going to see as you click forward, you know, you just don't want those hands going up initially. You just kind of want to get them up there. Boom, now you kind of get in that spot, and then you come through and release the ball there. All right, so just kind of work on, that's something that you might need to kind of clue your coach in on, that you got to work on an initial sort of, you don't have to go all the way down, just sort of out and then up instead of initially out and then throw. All right, so the next point I want to talk to you about is staying in our back leg. All right, so here's your foot strike. You can see how you're still flat-footed. All right, you're good at staying back here, but we want to try to see on the ball of your foot at this point, because that knee's starting to kind of rotate down. But what we want, the biggest thing here, cluing in on our upper body, is we want to try to be staying back over our back hip a little bit longer. All right, so just get to this point right here. So the more we can get you to stay back here, the more power you're going to build up in this backside. You know, it's just basically all about staying back. You know, trying to load up those hips. It's called that hip-shoulder separation. You know, where we can get those hips to start to turn before that upper body. So you can see here, as you start to rotate, you can see your head really getting out in front. All right. At this point, we still want to see you try to stay straight up, and then I'll get that all the way through that release. All right. Another thing at release is you're popping open this left shoulder early. All right, so cue in on that left shoulder. You can see it just kind of turn down, and you're pulling that glove in your body. We want to try to see at that foot strike, your elbow still closed, and that glove out over that front foot here, and then it kind of stays out over that front glove, and your elbow rotates down, and that glove stays out over that front foot. So then through your release point, right here, you're releasing the ball. All right, you're right here, your head's out over that front foot, which is a good thing. Oops. But what you're seeing at this point is you can see this back foot all the way off the ground. All right, we want to try to get it straight to the ground, driving all the way through that back leg. You know, just like if you're thinking, if you're trying to punch someone right out here, you know, would you rather have 1 foot on the ground or 2? You know, with the 2 feet on the ground, you're able to drive through it more, get more power behind it. And so it's just a matter of you know, driving through that lower half, using those legs to get sort of maximize that body. So again, you know, it's just a matter for you. It's just kind of a few sort of tweaks that you're going to need to do if you really want to keep pitching to get yourself in a lot better spot to stay back, you know, keep your arm healthy, and just kind of go from there. So, you know, I definitely recommend trying to get with the coach to work on a few things and go from there. You know, you got a big frame. You know, good pitcher's body, so it's just a matter of kind of figuring a few things out, working on a few things, and hopefully, you know, go from there. So good luck this season. Hope you had a great time at camp. Thanks for making it out, and we look forward to seeing you again with ABC.